Today's been an awesome day. Our incoming recruits are in. The kids that were in last year's class, not all of them made. There's some proms and some baseball games and some, but a lot of them made it in, and we had a great morning with them and their families. Have a couple of recruits from this coming class that are in today. Obviously, culmination of a great spring. Anytime we can go play football, we got to play a lot of football today. A lot of kids got it. It's fun for the fans, fun for their parents, fun for everybody. But a lot of kids got a ton of reps today, and we'll still watch this tape next week and learn from the tape, and that's how you get better. So we've talked all spring since January. We've had it. We have a really young team, like a lot of teams. Lost a lot of guys that had played a lot of snaps here. So the kids really took advantage. Luke and Brandon in the weight room along with our coaches, and then all spring meetings and practice and lifting. Our kids have just continued to get better and better, and they know we got a long, long way to go. We got a lot of, you lose Mike Brown and Sterling Weatherford, there's about 2,000 snaps you have to replace just with those two guys alone, the amount of snaps they played. So, and we've got a lot of that, a lot of different positions. So, but the coaches have been awesome. The kids have really, really worked and competed in a fashion that allows them to get better. And we got a couple weeks to get ready for finals, which is nice, and knock our finals out of the park, and then get right back after it after Memorial Day and have a great summer leading into fall camp. So really, really young, really inexperienced, but excited about the group and what we can become.
Coach, how much has the transfer portal changed what you do in the spring?
Yeah, the transfer portal, I don't know how much it changed what we do in the spring, other than we had 5 transfers in here that weren't here at the bowl game, and then some kids that we thought would be here that weren't here, that were here at the bowl game. So that's just everybody's got a bunch of new faces, and the good thing for us is our foundation, our locker room is so strong with who they are. Bringing guys in from the outside, not going to affect those kids. It's just not. Now if they want to fit in with them and be part of what we're doing, our kids will welcome with open arms and help them get from point A to point B. If anybody comes here and doesn't want to do it, those kids, our kids aren't going to be easily influenced. And so I'm less concerned than probably some that you bring a kid in and he can ruin what you got. And my kids are going to be my kids. They're going to do things a certain way, and they hold themselves to a certain standard. Fortunately for us, the 5 kids we brought in have been wonderful. They've jumped right in. Our kids love them. They love our kids. They've jumped right in. They like being here. They like the fact that our kids work really hard. They like the fact that we expect a lot out of our football players, that we do a lot of extra stuff that some people don't do, and our kids will do it on their own. So they've fit in wonderfully and been great additions so far to our team.
Knowing it was spring showcase, knowing you had some interesting scoring things going on, but how indicative is that score of how far your defense has come from the beginning of camp till now?
Yeah, no, if right now, I mean, our offense, if it was a truly game, our offense is ahead of our defense, but they're not way ahead of them. We got experienced guys on offense that over the course of a game would make less mistakes than our young defensive guys, but we've made up for a lot of it defensively just with their compete level. Our coaches, Coach Breakin, is in there with 3 new coaches, Coach Blanton, Coach Bowen, and Coach Burton, and new defensive GA, so he's kind of in a room. But they've made up for a lot of our lack of execution, which you're going to have when you're really young. You're going to have some spotty execution at times with playing north and south and playing with great effort and flying around. So that's still going to be our calling card in the fall. We're not going to be as clean on defense as we've been the last 3 or 4 years as far as maybe run fit and pass fit and everything the same way. But we have really nice athletes, and we're going to play insanely hard over there to make up for it. And then, we'll rely on Brett and the boys to put some points on the board, which we know they can do.
Speaking of quarterbacks, how would you characterize the backup quarterbacks' performance this spring? The candidates, I should say, especially since losing Mayer in the transfer.
Yeah, obviously we had the luxury when we had Brett and AJ that I've never had that in 30 years of coaching. Have 2 guys that could play at that level. Avion's had Avion's probably one of about 35, 40 guys that really needed to take advantage of this spring opportunity and make giant jumps, and did. He just got better and better and better, and he's like the other 30, they need to keep making jumps. He needs to make a jump this summer. He needs to make a jump in fall, but he's a way different player than he was at North Texas. He knows that. The whole team knows it. Defensive guys know he's got to keep coming, because obviously he was sitting there at 3 last year. Obviously Henry Hessen, this was his first kind of work really with the ones and the twos, and like any young guy, did some nice things, and like any young guy's got a long way to go.
Have you had any surprises, that came up in the spring, or people moving up the depth chart along the way?
Yeah, the one thing jumps to my mind, just taking 5 transfers and how seamlessly they the strength of our team, I always say, is our team. Like, they are a tight-knit group, and they will play for each other, and they'll play really hard for each other. And when things go bad, they won't point the finger at each other. And you bring 5 guys in, and you're worried about how does that. And the beauty is those kids just jump right in. Like, there was no transition. They just fit right in with our guys. They're wonderful young men. They compete really hard. They play really hard. Other than that, there wasn't, and I wasn't totally surprised, but it was a concern. Arnett, I wasn't surprised that our kids played really hard this spring. I wasn't surprised how we got 15 practices. We got after each other for 15. It was awesome. It was fun being out here every day. And then I know from experience that if you play really hard and try to do your court, you're going to get better. It's impossible not to get. You may have a bad day, good day, but you're not. So we needed to have great growth this spring. We did, but we're not. We need to have great growth this summer and great growth in fall camp. We got a long ways to go. We got to play Kentucky week 1, and we got to get a lot better if we're going to go down there and give them a game.
You look like you were having fun out there today, like a kid on Christmas morning. Dance contests, kids throwing contests, the punt catching contest and everything. How much fun was it for you?
Yeah, it's always nice. A lot of families are here, and then anytime we get around our fans, it's awesome. And then obviously the fans like to get involved, and fans like all the goofy stuff that I don't like. So I'm getting old and starting to wear down, but the punt contest is pretty cool. Charlie Nank made one heck of a catch. That was probably if you say the biggest surprise of the spring game is Charlie Nank, our backup center, making a Willie Mays type over-the-shoulder catch on. He really only had all the punts were pretty easy to catch, and then Dom turned one over. We're like, okay, that's not being. Somehow Charlie reeled it in So that was probably, but that was fun. And then Jane Rucker Furlow's younger brother. I didn't know if he was real nervous, and then once he got going, he kind of stole the show, which is pretty cool until he found out he was working for the offense, and Jaden was mad at his younger brother. But anytime we can be around our family and friends and fans, it's fun, and to get them involved, obviously they like doing those things.
How did you feel about the defensive line? I know that's going to be one of the big challenges for you going ahead.
The third down pass rushes be the biggest thing. I think our ends will be fine on first and second down. Third down pass rush is when we played all 4 of those guys together, and they kind of wreaked havoc. So we got a long ways to go. That was probably the biggest difference in the spring is third down, the amount of time that either Brett or AV had time to throw and on third down more than we like, or they scrambled a bunch for first down. So when you lose 4 guys like we lost that of that caliber, it's going to be a challenge to replace them. But with Coach Burton getting on board, D-line coach, and then I think there's ability there, and I think he's going to get the ability out of him quicker than later. So, but we got to. That's obviously. It was kind of nice to get the third down, rush those 4 kids. It was kind of nice, play coverage and cut and again, we might have to do some other things on third down too to make up for that. We just can't rush 4 and they get home all the time.